Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Planet FPL GW36 Deadline stream. My name's James, if you don't know me. I'm here to help with those last-minute dilemmas ahead of a frantic deadline when we may or may not get some news on a Chelsea lineup ahead of their game against Norwich. A reminder, the deadline for your FPL game week is in 54 minutes. Please be aware that due to the use of graphics, which will take you through in a sec, that this stream is on around about a 30-second delay. So it may well be that you get team news before you hear it from me. Graphics, top right-hand corner. That's that way. It's all back to front to me. That's me, locked in for the game week. I'm going Gabriel Jesus, captain. I've made 2 free transfers. I've sold Laporte and Raul Jimenez. Baby Jew. Everyone seems to have forgotten. Although you should keep him if you're unsure what to do. But I just think that news is going to drop at any point now, like the baby. And I've brought in Lamptey from Brighton, 4.0 defender. He can just sit third bench going forward. And I brought in Gabriel Jesus and captained him. That's me locked. Whatever happens with Chelsea is not going to change my opinion. I realise it will change some of yours. In the bottom right-hand corner of the graphic here, these are my top 10 in order of preference for captaincy this game week. So if you're asking me if you've got Gabriel Jesus, I'm captaining him. I'm going to advise you to do the same. If you haven't, I think the next best choice is Bruno. And then so on. Those are my top 10 in order of preference for captains this game week. Let's try and avoid captain choices, guys. It's a bit repetitive. For those in the chat, let's have some policing. I love it. Right, let's get into the questions. Let's see if we can help you. Good luck, everybody. Phil B's in, he's having a beer. Good luck to you, Phil. Gavin Townsend, just switched my captain from Fernandes to Salah as low owned in my mini league and 60 points behind leader. Worth the risk. Yeah, I mean, I haven't put Salah in my top 10, to be honest. But yeah, if you need to make up that ground, you need to do something different if they're all going to captain Bruno Fernandes. And so it's all relative to your personal circumstance. I don't hate that, Gavin. Tyrell Maxfield, hello mate. Vardy to Jesus. My advice would be yes. Aaron Lago is our Leicester correspondent. He said on our Patreon Slack channel today that he doesn't think Leicester will get 3 points between now and the end of the season. He is raging about what's happened with the last couple of weeks with them, and I think even he would advise to move away. Chris says, who gets more points over the rest of the season, Jesus or Ings? Team news dependent, I'll be transferring Vardy out this week. Jesus, I think in one of these 3 games left, he's going to go off. And go off to me means a hat-trick or free attacking return, something like that. I really think he's going to go off in one of these games, and I really think it could be tomorrow as well. FPL Cobbler says, evening all. Chris, Owen, evening James, no problem Chris. Donald, Byrne, Jesus to start, worth triple captain of chasing first in mini league. Possibly. I'm really against people who are sort of in the last hour or so going, should I use my triple captain? I think you should have enough confidence in who you're captaining to know what you're going to do personally. So if you're going to ask me lastminute.com on a triple captain, I'm generally going to advise you not to. However, the upside of this could be very good if you're chasing, and I don't hate it. I would put Jesus starting at around about 80%. Genuinely no more than that. I don't think you could have any more than that on any of the Manchester City players, but I do think my patrons will know, and those who listened to the podcast yesterday, my instinct is that he won't start against Arsenal at the weekend. And so therefore it's not even just about this week for me, it's about next Tuesday against Watford as well in game week 37. I just think City are going to want to prepare for Real Madrid, and Arsenal, no matter what you think of them, is the best preparation of what they've got left to be able to prepare for Real Madrid. And I think they'll try and flood the midfield against Arsenal, which is what they'll want to do against Real Madrid. And therefore my instinct is that Jesus doesn't play Saturday, and that's the main reason why I think he'll play tomorrow. And obviously also he came off quite early. There's a theme with Jesus at the moment that he's regularly playing sort of 60-70 minutes, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's exactly the same tomorrow as well. Information period. Hello everyone, Captain Picks guys. If you're joining in now, Captain Picks, those are my top 10 in order of preference. Bottom right hand corner, FPL Cobbler, been flitting between Sterling, Jesus and Bruno all day for captain, still not 100%. You won't be the only one, mate. Dirkil08, evening James, which 2 would you start out of? Van Dijk, Bolly, Sayis and Stevens. I would go for VVD and Bolly. Just a little more upside, I think, potentially on a on attacking returns from set pieces. But I mean, Bolly Saiss really is actually is toss of a call, because actually Saiss is quite a threat from set pieces as well. I think one of them, and VVD, yeah, I'm not big on leaving out premium defenders. I don't think, because it's Arsenal, we should necessarily fear it. Pete Haley, hi James, I've got 7.5 million to buy a defender. You're just about anyone other than Trent then, aren't you? As a big tasty, that's Jamal Lascelles, for those not in the know, he's out. I don't know if he's definitely out, and it's for a bench boost. You have Alexander-Arnold, Doherty, Taylor, Holgate. You've already got 3 from the Manchester teams. You know what I'm going to say, Pete? Andrew Robertson. Perlo's Pen, afternoon James. Phil Foden, captain for me, ranked 258th. Make or break, good luck. Information period, I'm going with Salah as captain, good luck. Heavy Fingers 7, cheers James. Which would you choose? Salah to Sterling, Rashford to Jesus, or for a hit, Salah and Sarr for Sterling and David Silva? I wouldn't take the hit, personally. I'm not keen on moving to Salah. I've had a couple of people ask me earlier today about moving on to Salah, and I actually think, like, if you're on, just stick with it. You're going to get 3 games of Mohamed Salah. Don't play again for tomorrow. I've had a 4-day break between the weekend and today. I'd probably keep. That would be my general consensus on how I'd feel about that. Jack Wilson, hi James. Do you think if Giroud starts, he could get a hat-trick? If he gets the same chance as Antonio, he could bang. Apologies, guys, if you're experiencing a little bit of a breakup of the picture. I've just been notified you might be having some issues there. Bear with us. We'll try and see what's happening now. I think that's come back okay. It seems not stable for some reason, but my Wi-Fi is very strong. Shouldn't be having some issues. Apologies if you're having some watching now. Could Giroud get a hat-trick? Listen, Pulisic could get a hat-trick. Willian could get a hat-trick. Fucking Mason Mount could get a hat-trick playing against them if he plays in the 10 position. Yeah, of course he could. I'll just scan over Chelsea because I know I'm going to want to get rid straight away. So I'll take the drop in rank tonight and move on from there. That's where I'm at with it. I think the Chelsea team, because of the result at Sheffield United, will be stronger than what I had originally anticipated. I would make, like, I've got Pulisic for me as the 6th best option for captain this week. If I owned, I wouldn't captain him personally because I'd have some of the others. But I wouldn't be against anybody going for that, actually. I think it could be right time, right place. You've got the confirmed team news, and that's a real, if you're going to get it, that's a real benefit over not being decisive about what's happening with Man City tomorrow. So I can certainly understand why people would go down that route. I'm not in agreement with those thinking about Giroud captaincy and stuff like that. I think Pulisic's the one who's capable of going off, really. Remember, it's Giroud that really brings the others into play. But yeah, of course he could return tonight. Dodgy in the air defensively as well, and that's obviously his great strength from wide when the ball comes in from wide positions. Ash says Mahrez to Dilva, yes or no? If yes, and Kesha to Giroud, it's just a flat no for me, mate. Benny Blanca, evening James. Which of these 2 options do you like more? A, Mahrez and Doherty to Sterling captain and Saiss for a -4. Saka to Foden. B, Saka to Foden for 3. Option B gives me 3 City players, KDB, Mahrez and Foden. What you've got to know, Benny, is you're going to be happy with those 3 if you do that. Is there going to be any regret on a Jesus or a Sterling? I don't like the move for the hit. I think Mahrez is a coin toss whether he plays or not. That's why he's really low on my captaincy list. My instinct is that Sterling starts ahead of him, but I've got no real faith in Sterling or Mahrez playing this week. And I think for me, De Bruyne, I actually fancy his chances starting more than most people seem to, personally. He's still the main man. Don't forget that. And I just think it's another one where they might start him, drag him off after 60 minutes or so. So I would go for the free transfer, Benny. Jack Wilson, that's what I've just answered on Sterling. J Barker, afternoon James. Would you swap Vardy and Jimenez for Jesus and Giroud for a hit? Yeah, I probably would, Jay, yeah, but you just got to remember then what are you doing with Giroud next week. I obviously can't see what's in your bank or whatever, just be cautious of that. I'll tell you what I'd love on that is then a move to, say, Chris Wood at the weekend and then just hop from there if you're very happy with the rest of your squad. The Emerald Pilot, afternoon James. Jimenez to Ings and Mahrez to David Silva, or Antonio for a -4. Listen, we've all missed Antonio. If Villa and Bournemouth get beat on tomorrow and Thursday respectively, West Ham and Watford may well play out for a low scoring draw. So not Antonio. Jimenez to Ings and Mahrez to Silva. I'm not keen on it. Yeah, I think the consensus is David Silva probably will start this week. But I'm not keen on it. You're probably going to want to flip that back next week, possibly. William Jones, hi James. Loving the team. Hope you're doing okay. Would you bench Vardy, Greenwood or Ings? If I had those three players, I would bench Greenwood. My major choice was whether I went for Jesus or Mahrez. If I'd gone for Mahrez, it would have meant keeping Jimenez. And I would have been going Traore to Mahrez rather than Jimenez to Jesus. And therefore, I would have actually left Mason Greenwood out this week. I don't think Mason Greenwood will start for Manchester United on Thursday. I have left him in my team because I still think that he'll be the first substitute they use. Can he do some damage in the final half hour if Palace are chasing things? Yeah. So that's why he stayed in there. But generally, if you've got like quite a weak bench, etc., I'd possibly look at trying to figure that out a little bit. I would leave Greenwood out from them, actually. If I'd have been placed with the choice of Greenwood or Ings, I'd have been leaving out Greenwood. If you're going to have Vardy, you've got to play him, haven't you? Sam, good evening. James, would you go Jesus and Mane or Sterling and Ings, but with a hit? Look, I've had Danny Ings since I don't know, about game week 21 or something. He hasn't moved for me. So, and I'm keen on him now with obviously the last three fixtures that he can do well in them. He's got a very, very slim chance of hitting the golden boot. I say slim because he regularly doesn't get more than ones, but for Danny Ings, one goal can often mean top bonus. So I prefer the option there with Danny Ings actually. Information period. Where is Salah, bro, for captain? I'd probably have him 11th and Mane 12th. That's probably roughly where I'd be at. Arsenal give him a difficult game. That's my opinion. And when I look at the fixtures of those guys I've listed, if the City guys start, they're all better options. And genuinely, I think Richarlison against Villa is a real outside shot this week if people want to make silly ground try. I know they've been shit Everton, but Villa, they ain't good. And Danny Ings is reliable as hell. So genuinely, I would put Danny Ings, if I'd have not gone with Jesus this week, I said this on the Patrons podcast that we recorded this morning, that I hadn't ruled out captaining Danny Ings this week. I don't hate it at all. Brighton will try and play through Southampton, and Southampton right now are the side that's pressing best in the whole of the league, other than probably Manchester City. But Manchester City can do it in different spurts because obviously they have so much of the ball. Southampton are incessant. They basically revert to a 4-2-4 without the ball and go for it. And Brighton will try and play through that. And if Southampton win it higher, they're going to get chances. So I don't hate Danny Ings as a captain choice this week, personally. Sam Summers, I've been planning on bench boosting this game week, which would have consisted of Lascelles and Aurier. Would you fix this with a hit this game week or wait until game week 38? I'd wait because they could both be back. Is the simple truth on that. Yeah, if he's obviously, Aurier, if he's back, and my instinct would be that he probably doesn't play again this season because that's horrendous what's happened there, that news that broke from France. Lascelles is Liverpool on the last day. That's probably the downside of that. So I'd probably wait. Lascelles could be back fit. I don't know if he's 100% been ruled out of the game tomorrow. I suspect he won't play, is the information that seems to be going around. But it's obviously not a long-term injury. He's their captain. He'll come back in if he's fit. But that's probably the one you want to move on. You know, in terms of budget-wise, you could shift that to a Burnley player, for example, play Brighton on the final game week. Might even be a cheap West Ham option against Villa, for example. Maybe even, crazy as it sounds, there might be a cheap Man City option that works for you on the day, like Otamendi, for example. Will Bill, Zuma or James a good option if they start? Yeah, they're both absolutely fine for the game week. I would certainly prefer to go with Reece James if he's going to start out of the two. But Zuma's a beast from set pieces as well, and Norwich are poor at them, so either would be fine. FPL telling Josh, good luck for the game week, mate. No question, just wanted to say hi. You must be buzzing still after the North London derby result. I am, but it doesn't feel like it normally should because I've watched the game here by myself, got drunk by myself. You want to share that with other people, so it's not quite the same. But yeah, listen, I will enjoy Spurs beating Arsenal to around about 6 o'clock tomorrow when they probably go and let me down again at Newcastle. But yeah, no matter how shit we are, no matter what I think of Mourinho, listen, when we beat them, it's there to be celebrated. Scott Young, do you think KDB will really start? I think yes, probably Jost. I wouldn't put KDB starting at more than about 60%, genuinely. If you could say to me now 100% he's going to start, it'd be my captain. That's where I'd be at with KDB. I'd say slightly yes, probably 60% or so. It's certainly not one that I'd be thinking, oh, I'm going to leave him on the bench. And it's also not one where I think it's worth taking a -4 for someone else when I'm going to want it back. So what would I be going to? I mean, everyone seems to think David Silva's going to play this week. And that's fine. Do I want to go to Foden or something? I don't really. I just take it. If he plays half hour, he can do damage. If he don't play at all, I've got Adama Traore first sub against Burnley. It's fine. I think when you've got the Power City players, and I've now got a Power 3 in De Bruyne, Sterling, Jesus, that's it now. The final decision for me was Jesus Mahrez. I'm not mucking it about. You've seen Sterling against Newcastle last Wednesday. Plays half out at the end, scores and assists. And he outdoes Mahrez and De Bruyne in half hour. And this week it could be the other way round. So I'm not playing with the premiums of Man City. That's my 3. They're staying. Georgie Juric, aka Spider Pig 87. Hi James, I'm undecided who to captain this week. Pulisic, Foden or Bruno. What do you think? I mean, Bruno is the safety net. Pulisic is kind of your sword, if you want to look at it that way. What are you looking to do? Are you worried about others, or are you looking to gain? I think if you're looking to gain and you know Pulisic's going to play, I think that's a decent move. The reason I list Bruno above is part on not knowing if Pulisic's going to play, and it's a shield. And if I remove myself from what do people want, do they want gains or do they want to protect, then Bruno is a safer option. He'll get a lot more time on the ball against Palace on Thursday than he got against Southampton. Shamil Gilani, my friend, I'm not going to ask who to captain, but I'm interested to know why you have Sterling so low down as 7th best choice captain. Sham, I'm going to guess you already heard my feelings on that. FPL Lucky, FPL Lucka. Hello, mate. Advice needed on which one to bench out of my front 8. KDB, Mahrez, Foden, Bruno, Pulisic, Rashford, Greenwood, Jimenez. I would bench Greenwood from that. Jacob NH, who do you think is a better trip to bring in? Triple, you're saying. Jesus, Salah, J. Rodriguez. I presume that's J. Rodriguez. Or Ings, Sterling and Giroud. I think Ings, Sterling and Giroud, and because of that as well, it should allow you a move to Rodriguez or Chris Wood at the weekend, if that's part of your thinking. Brad Hall, hey James, have one free transfer left. Rashford to Greenwood or Mane to Pulisic. Team news depending. Pulisic, if he's going to play. Roger Stard, Halais. I don't know what that means, mate, but Halais to you too. I hope it's not offensive. Jack Wilson, will Jesus play 5 starts in a row? I don't know, mate, 80%, but I'm going to take the chance. I didn't get my balls out for Sterling last week, and I wish I had. Because at some point, you've got to take the chance. This is me taking the chance on Jesus. Does he start? I think 80%. I can't put it higher than that. I don't pick the team. I'm just guessing like everybody else. Perlo's Pens, James, Jesus has already gone off 3 attacking returns last game. Phil B, would you transfer in Jesus or Martial? Jesus. Martial has 4 away goals this season. I'm not sure how much that matters at the moment. And some of those away goals have actually been against decent opposition, such as Manchester City and Wolves. Far less likely to get in behind against Crystal Palace in terms of the way they sit up with lower blocks. Genuinely be 2 banks of 4 without the ball for Crystal Palace quite often. In fact, in the game on Thursday, it could even end up being a blanket of a 4 and then another 5 with 1 isolated up front, which I guess will probably be Jordan Ayew with Benteke obviously now suspended. So not Martial, it would be Jesus for me, Phil. Chris Ewers, hi James, playing bench boost this week, thinking Jimenez to Giroud if he starts, and Lascelles to Azpilicueta or Dean, torn by Salah to Sterling. Mid, you've got way too much going on there, Chris. You've got way too much going on for me to give you serious advice when I'm trying to power through these. What I would say is I really don't mind Luka Dean as an alternative shout. I know they've been shit, but they've got Villa, Sheffield United and Bournemouth in the last 3. And there will be a clean sheet in there somewhere, possibly a bit more. Avid Travo, hello James, my midfield is Antonio, Foden, KDB, Fernandes, Mane. Want to bring Pulisic, Willian for who? I attempted to say Antonio. Genuinely, the hall's gone. Take your points and run. But I wouldn't necessarily be keen on changing any of that personally. If I had to bin one seriously, it'd be Mane and then use the money somewhere else, I think. Sheila J. Raj, Mane and Mahrez to Sterling and Pulisic for a hit, or keep Mane and do KD. I'm really not keen on these moving of hits to Sterling and Mahrez. The reason they're so low on my captaincy picks table is because I have no clue if they're starting or not. So how do I feel if I take a hit from Sterling to Mahrez this week and then Sterling plays? Or vice versa? I'm not doing it. I'm not going to advise anyone to be taking a hit from one Manchester City player to another. Jack Wilson, thoughts to David Silva captain. Jack, you obviously probably quite like it because you've said it. So, yeah, if you fancy it, I don't mind it. Everybody seems to think he's going to start. Vishwajit, considering both play, who should I have between David Silva and Foden? See my previous answer. Gordon, Gilbody, Pulisic showing yellow on fan team. Possible non-starter. Yeah, we'll see. I wouldn't be majorly shocked. Mega Zozo 82, evening James, want to switch him and his out. If we get news Giroud is starting, is he worth a 1 week punt with a look to move into Ings for the final 2 weeks? Thanks as always. Yeah, it's okay. It's absolutely fine, mate. Even Krukum, hello James, just tuned in. I was wondering why Sterling, hopefully you've heard what I've said. Kenneth says, hi James, just want to say your show intrigues me so much. Keep it up, man. I don't know if it really intrigues people, does it? Nigel Mendonca, how's it going? Fine, have Mahrez, but really struggling to swap him out for another City asset. Azzy, are you nervous not having Salah Mane? No. Keep Mahrez, H. Jeff Hull, evening James, down to 5,000 places since returns. Need a good week to fight back a bit. Good luck, Jeff. Aisha Acton, why does the chat seem to have died off? Oh, that's really handy for me that I can't see the chat. Brilliant. Okay. Let's see if we can get that fixed. Yes, you might have lost me for a minute there, but that's got me the chat back. Sorry, I'd lost out of chat comments there all of a sudden. Alright, I will start powering through these quicker, guys. Right. Let's go back 626 we was at. Lamichi start. Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Villa or Greenwood. I'd go Calvert-Lewin. Martin Hewitt, alright mate. Any thoughts on getting Silva in? Surely he's guaranteed to play with it being his last season. What's that got to do with anything? It's not the last game, is it? Donna Boyle, is it worth a -4? Maybe he thinks, oh, I want to play him at Wembley. Could be his last chance to ever play at Wembley. Who knows? Donna Boyle, is it worth a -4? Doherty to Alonso if we get early team news he starts. Not for me. Azzy, I'm predicting a 15-pointer for Carl Walker-Peters, I presume that is. Good luck, Azzy. Yasin Ali, what do you think Sterling and Jesus and David Silva triple? Yeah, it's fine. FPL Hesco. Sterling captain again for me. Good luck, my friend. Keith Neil James, would you bring in Sun versus Newcastle? Ask a stupid question, you'll get a stupid answer. I won't be bringing the Spurs player in again while Jose Mourinho is Tottenham manager. Simple as that. If you ever want good advice on Spurs players, go and ask someone else. Bring him in? No. I mean, there's a lot to say in terms of the fact he played up front against Arsenal. It doesn't mean that we'll play that way against Newcastle. Paul Meehan, how many times have we asked about captains yet? I don't know, Paul. I've lost count. I'm sure people will still ask. FPL Cobbler, Wigan 1-0 up against Hull. A win would take them 12 points clear. Get in. Go on, Wigan. FPL telling Josh, would you do Mane to Sterling or Rashford to Jesus? Cannot have both this week. Free hit 38. So it's Sterling versus Jesus for the next two. My preference would be Raheem Sterling. Ronan Megan, hi James. Did you consider Traore to Foden? Keep Jimenez and just have the benching headache? Yeah, of course I considered it, but I just decided I wanted the three most powerful City players I could have. I already had Sterling and De Bruyne, so then it was a straight choice between Jesus and Mahrez for me. And if it had been in the middle of the season, I would have definitely gone for Mahrez. I think with these fixtures, I really wanted to take the chance that somewhere in there that Jesus could go off as a great little differential for me. Could be completely wrong. Jack Wilson, do you think Sterling starts? I couldn't put it at more than 50-50, Jack. Genuinely. Stan is, should I captain Bruno or Jesus? Stan. I'm going Jesus. Azzy, those selling Mahrez, who are you moving to? Oh, that's just going to flood up comments. Stan, you only need to ask the question once, mate, because genuinely, mate, if you just repeat like that, you'll just get muted, mate. Ash, Wigan are 2-0 up against Hull. Go on, Wigan. Neil Kager, hey James from Ottawa, Canada. Hey, I have Ings, Vardy and Greenwood and want to get rid of Vardy for Jesus, but can only play 2 forwards. Your thoughts? Cheers, Neil. Leave out Greenwood, mate. Yeah, generally. I'm not in the best position to do that this week. But others, yeah, that's the way I'd go, I think. Steve Saunders, seeing your captaincy list has answered my question. There you go. Good idea, that. Shame no one else takes much notice, Steve. Taha A, bench Greenwood or Jimenez? Greenwood. Rohan Bajaj, Jesus or Giroud? That's not even a question for me, really. FPL Andy, good evening. Got no questions. Good luck. Thank you, Andy. Joe Finney Badder. Siyunchu to Reece James, captain in Sky. Should he start? Then straight to Ings on Thursday. Then that's my transfers done. Good luck, Joe, in the Sky game. Mikey2908. Mahrez to Pulisic for a hit. Already made my transfer. Vardy to Jesus this week, but I may take the -4 now. Not sure. Cheers. Interesting, you only had one Manchester City player prior to this week, Mikey. What is it about the last 2 5-0 wins that has suddenly made you decide you want more? No, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it, personally. Aisha Acton, hey, shall I do Vardy to Ings or Vardy to Jesus? Bearing in mind I don't own Sterling. Be Jesus for me, Aisha. Jay Barker, thanks for the answer, James. Would go immediately out for Ings. Would. That's cool, mate. Stan, you really are looking to get muted, mate. Lucas Hautetsky, Foden captain, had Sterling last game week. Feeling Foden this week. If you got a feeling, Lucas, okay. It's okay. I'm just sitting here giving my opinion. If you think Foden's the best to captain him, mate. Anthony Chung, start Greenwood or Jimenez. We've just done that one. It's Jimenez for me. I'd never leave him out. That's why I had to sell him. Rob Pick said I wouldn't make it. I did. Pulisic and Jesus for Mahrez and Jimenez. Would you say it's worth a -4? Could then reverse the Pulisic move next week if needed before the 38 free hit? I'm not sure it is, Rob, I'm afraid. I'm just not keen on that swapping of the City guys. We're all guessing the team together. What do we know? It's not like Guardiola's never surprised us before, is it? Gary Baker, evening, James. Would you bench either Doherty or Maguire? I do think United will keep a clean sheet at Palace on Thursday, but I would bench Maguire out of that. The upside of Doherty can always be great. Maguire's got one return this season. I regret getting him when I wildcarded rather than Wan-Bissaka. Jack Tasker, Stan, kindly message once and don't spam the chat. There you go, you've been told. Vunt to me soccer, James, are you, mate? I'm here, mate, I'm good. Carfic, hello, mate. Foden over Jesus, captain. I can't advise that personally, mate. Matt Hine, hi, James. Random punters I'm chasing the mini league. I haven't even read it yet, and I'm all for it because it's a random punt. Vardy to Firmino. Good record versus Arsenal when he only scores away. I'm not keen on that though, mate. Rob Pick, would you bench Greenwood or DCL? Greenwood. Ash is now saying Wigan are beating Hull 3-0. If you're wondering why I'm keen on Wigan to do well, podcast last Thursday. Go on, Wigan. Subert's blog, evening, James. Pulisic straight out tonight after the game and need a straight swap. Anyone better than McNeil as a punt for the next fixture before I free hit game week 38? Worry about that once you got this game week out of the way, mate. You don't need to be forcing it through like straight after tonight. Just wait, get the information, see how you feel on Friday. Yazin Ali, I have double Wolves, Burnley defence. Which one should I bench? I have double Wolves, Burnley defence. Which one should I bench? What, you saying you got double of each? Bloody hell. Fucking hell. That's awful, mate. I'd trust the Wolves, guys. Joe Finley Badder would love an extra City attacker to go with Mahrez and KDB, and Sky Basinka's really fucked me. Yeah, I understand that, mate. Camberley Lacater, evening, James, just tuned in. Do you have a feeling as to whether Foden will start, please? My feeling would be yes. 75-80%. Paul Meehan, I'm going to skip that because it's a response. William Jones, I know you have covered captaincy, James, but just a quick question. Have Foden, David Silva and KDB, are any of those assets worth captaining? No. No, I think in that case I'd revert to type. I mean, look, I've got De Bruyne third on my list and I make him about 60% confident to start. If you're at near 100%, then go KDB. Zaris, Jesus or Greenwood, as ever, greetings from Greece. Thank you, Zaris. Go with Jesus. Paul O'Hare, do you think Alonso will start? Yeah, probably, actually, yeah. We'll find out very, very shortly. We are 25 minutes or so to the deadline, guys. Please be aware, any questions you ask now, it's possible I won't get there, but I will try and rattle through these to get all of you covered if I can. Please, no repetitive bollocks. Optimus, hey James, Optimus Prime in the house. Don't smile. But my captain will be David Silva. Good luck, mate. Frodo, good evening all. Benjamin Miller says afternoon. Vimpsy Soccer have KDB, Jesus and Pulisic. Morris to Willian for a hit based on any news link. Not for me. Jeff Holt, hey James, Mahrez and Rashford or Sterling and Greenwood. Well, it'd have to be Mahrez and Rashford because I think Greenwood will get left out this week is my instinct. Ben Miller, nice team, bud. Listening to your free podcast released this week in the last 12 hours. Excellent work, especially during the overload of football. Much appreciate that, Ben. Average Travo, people having different opinions about Arsenal's defence. I do think it would be a tough game for us, Liverpool, against Arsenal. They look good since game week 31. Last game week was just a one-off, maybe. So sell Mane. What's your player, mate? You're a Liverpool fan. What do you think? Go with your instinct there. Can be Lobert, out of curiosity, I'm from Liverpool and it's my opinion that the Liverpool derby is pretty friendly, to be honest. How serious relative to derbies do you think Spurs versus Arsenal is? It's fucking huge, mate. It's not inferior to Liverpool and Everton in any way. I'd class the two as level. I think they're the two biggest derbies in this country. Is Liverpool, Everton, Tottenham, Arsenal. Man City, Man United, I think comes underneath it in terms of hatred for each other because Man United seem to have as much hatred for Liverpool. So you could argue that's the same with Liverpool and Everton. So the only real consistent proper derby of teams that are in the top half of the Premier League is Tottenham Arsenal. So therefore it's the biggest derby in my opinion. Moving on. The one and only Smith. Evening James. No questions from me tonight. Giving up on chasing in my mini league now. And captaining Barkley if he starts. Wow, I love that. Best FPL podcast I've listened to. Thanks for what you do for the community. Appreciate it. Ash, are you taking the piss that Wigan really winning 4-0? Edwin Guan, which two would you bench? Never bench Trent. Azpilicueta, Doherty, Dean or Greenwood? Greenwood and Luca Dean. Bloody hell, mate. Hippoc, on my free hit this week going Alonso / Azpilicueta and Willian. Do you think that is a little risky? Trying to catch up my mini league. Definitely not on a free hit. Go for it, mate. FPL Andy. Go on Wigan, buzzing for them. Liam Pereira, no Salah on captaincy picks. No, I'd probably put him at Mane 11th, 12th. Elusive Man, would you risk with Richarlison or go with Shield Bruno on free hit? I really don't mind that Richarlison shout. Genuinely, I really don't mind it. I'm surprised I've not had more questions on Richarlison. I just think it's in people's minds that they're shit at the moment. And they are, but so are Villa. I really don't mind Richarlison's an alternative shout this week. Matthew Clark says, hello James, is double Wolves defence versus Burnley too risky? Could bench Sayis for Holgate or Messina? Nah, Justin Wolves. Ash, you've got to be winding me up about this Wigan score, mate. I think you're just stitching me up here, mate. I need to check that. Oh my God. They're winning 7-0. What the fuck? Wigan are beating Hull 7-0. That is astonishing. It's half time. Jesus. Oh my goodness. Robert Jones, start one. Body for safety or Greenwood for upside? Well, I think Bolly for both of those reasons, Robert. My instinct, like I said, is that Greenwood will be a substitute this game week. But I'm starting him because I still think he's a better option than any of my personal substitutes in half hour. Lewis Plummer, he said about Wigan. Hello, Ray, Rishi, Foden, Jesus, Bruno, captain. Look at the screen, please, Rishi. That's my opinion of preference. Henry Martin, do you think Laporte will play? No, that's why I sold him. I think Laporte is playing weekends at the moment and not midweeks. Henry Carfix says, got Jesus and Sterling, Pulisic and Antonio, but still want to captain Salah. Your thoughts, if that's what you want to do it. Tim Lum, evening James, after the 99 game week, I'll probably end up with 35 now. Yeah, probably, Tim. Great score last week though, mate. Nosbit, hi James, can you ask Suji if Antonio is dead on his feet? I did. We did ask him. If you haven't heard the intro of yesterday's podcast, you absolutely need to, because we don't mind laughing at ourselves and we took the piss out of ourselves. It's what we do. We don't take life too seriously. Antonino Gitto, would you captain Pulisic over Jesus if you had him? Nope. British Mukachi, hi James, should I play my bench boost with a bench of Holgate, Calvert-Lewin, Sayis and Martinez? I quite like that, mate. You'll struggle to get better than that. The downside, you might argue, is Martinez, but there's always save points potentially there. Patrick O'Meara, I'm going to skip the Wigan comments, guys. I really want to concentrate on people's FPL teams at the moment, but yeah, that is amazing. Paul, me and Jared Bowen steal 4 times more goals than next highest goal scorer, and he left in January. Patrick AG, triple captain on Pulisic or Fernandes or De Bruyne, or shall I save it? If you don't know what you're doing, Patrick, just wait till next week, mate. Mikey2908, I already have 2 City assets. Sorry, I have 3 now, and De Bruyne, Jesus and Mahrez. Sounds like a good 3. Aisha Acton, thanks so much for answering, James. Have a great game week, you too, Aisha. Mikey2908, RE the QB4, good luck. No problem, you too. Neil Kager, good luck, everybody. Paul Tinkler, you doing Champ Man? James, yes, I'll be going and having some dinner in about half hour, and then I'll be doing Champ Man from 8:30 to 11 o'clock this evening. Michael Svedin, if I dared to ask thoughts about Son, you dared. I answered already for someone else. FPL Cobbler, starting to plot my route to Hull next season. You do that. He's a Northampton fan. Frodo, Leeds player for next season FPL. Now is not the time, and I need to do some proper analysis on that. Anybody I say now would be me talking out my arse and just giving you a fake answer, basically. I need to assess them properly, which I haven't been able to do. Hamad Hamid, Salah and Himi to Ings and Sterling. Quite like that one. Tim Lum, saying to FPL Cobbler. Tim Shannon, going to roll transfer and then get rid of Salah and Pulisic next week. Who do I throw in? Frees up 17.6 million. Attack Man City and Manchester United if you haven't got those attacking assets. But wait and see how you are, Tim. I want to focus on people for this week at the moment. Junaid Mohammed, will Mahrez play? I don't know. I don't pick the team. 50% chance. Donald Burns, start Greenwood, Egan, Dendoncker or Tarkovsky. How many questions have I got here, Donald? Is it start Greenwood or Egan or Dendoncker? I don't know what you're asking there, mate. Is it out of them 4? If it's out of them 4, genuinely, I would still go Greenwood, even though I don't think he'll start. Ishmael Seth, KDB or William captain. Junaid Mohammed, Mahrez or Pulisic captain. Fuck, man, with these captain questions. FPL Cobbler, can't wait for James to catch up with this Wigan game. I'm getting there. Scott Speed 1000, Drew, captain shout if we find out he starts. Yeah, if you fancy it, wouldn't be for me. William or KDB for captain, love it, brilliant. Paul Meehan, he caught up, I got there. Hipok07 legendary. That's what happens when you make a podcast about them. He's talking about Wigan. William Jones, 20 points behind a rival. James, which captain choice would you suggest to rise up the standings? Don't have Jesus or Sterling. Gabriel Jesus for me. You'll hate it. He'll probably let you down. He'll probably let me down. But this is the week to go for it for me. Junaid wants anyone to pick his captain for him. So if someone can pick for him, feel free. Just tag him in. Eric Toff, odds on FPL. Hello, mate. The whole Chelsea forum is expecting Hudson-Odoi to start ahead of Willian. Yeah, that's a forum. Let's wait and see. Know your sources and trust them if you know them. FPL Zag, Lord Linden, any chance of an Aurea start this week? Mourinho seems to offer some hope. Look, it might be. We've seen this before where people have lost their parents and played and stuff. I suspect finding out your brother's been shot is a little bit different. If he plays, fair games to him and he'll get absolute maximum support from me. But I wouldn't expect it. I'd personally, I'd be very doubtful that he plays again this season. He wears his heart on his sleeve when he plays. You know that through some of his irrational tackling and stuff. I think it would probably be best to take him out the firing line. But if he goes to the manager and says, look, I really want to play, then there must be a temptation to play him. It's a tough one. I wouldn't expect him to play, put it that way. Paul Meehan, there is a list on the screen you are watching. Jay Barker, start Fabianski over Henderson. That's an interesting one. That's a tough call, actually. In terms of reliability, I think you should go for Henderson. And I said on our Patreon podcast this morning, I think the shock result this game week will be Sheffield United beating Leicester. Daft Paxton can't decide between transferring Sterling or Mahrez or getting Jesus for Gale. Bloody hell, how much money you got spare? Don't want to take a -4, no problem with funds. I tell you got no problem with funds. I'm going to advise Jesus then, mate. Near Shatter, bench one of Jesus, KDB, Foden, Salah, Fernandes, Rashford, Ings, Pulisic. Fucking hell. I'd bench Foden. Even though I think he'll play. The upside of the others, too big. 83 NN0, Traore to Foden or Son to Sterling for the next two. Son to Sterling for me. Ray, Captain Jesus as well. James, you and I hand in hand. We weren't hand in hand on Sunday, were we, Ray? Hi, mate. Hope you're well. Antonio, Aubameyang is now in contention for Golden Boot. Do you think he's a good option for the last two fixtures against Villa and Watford? Well, that's it, guys. If you go Jesus as well, you're nearly there. Just a rage to Aubameyang next week. I do. The problem is, I think if he plays again tomorrow, plays in Saturday's semi-final, especially if, I mean, it's unlikely, but Arsenal get to extra time, then he's a massive risk for Tuesday, and you need to make that decision before the semi-final. So I'll be going without. He's probably one I'll come back for what will personally be a free hit for me in game week 38. It's the most likely. Another Hoops. Hello, another Hoops. Good luck, everyone, this week. Pick your keeper at Junaid. Jim Boats 501. Jesus or KDB for the armband this week. Do you think that perhaps... Yeah. Sorry, Jim. I know you realise you're probably coming in late, but bottom right-hand corner, those are my top 10 captaincy in order of preference this week. My team this week is above that. I think it's fairly obvious that I'm going to recommend to go to Jesus, isn't it? That's what I believe. That's what I'm going with. That's my opinion. Nothing more than opinion. Not what I know is going to happen. I wouldn't be at all shocked if I see the team tomorrow and Jesus ain't in it. Genuinely. I also won't care because Spurs will be playing at the same time. That's all I'll be thinking about. Scott Speed 1000. Will Mourinho genuinely want to qualify for Europa next season? Tempted to drop Kane. I mean, you should be tempted to drop Kane either way, but yes, Spurs will be trying to qualify for Europe. There's no doubt about that. Trust me, you'll be getting told over his shoulder, you need to be qualifying for Europe. That's what he'll be getting told from the owners. That you need to be in Europe. The financial's too important at the moment. And I realise it's nothing like the Champions League, etc. But yeah, he'll be getting told you need to go for it. And we will, but probably just in a Jose Mourinho kind of way. Rudy taking Jesus or Ings. I think it's fairly straightforward. Shrajit, any team news? Not as yet. I'll just have a quick look through my phone. There's only one source that I trust, so you know that, and that's Rockstar. Although I did trust that one that came through from Heisenberg the other week. Rockstar has just tweeted, one more time. Team news will be imminent. Very, very shortly on that Chelsea team. Rockstar is basically saying that he's got it. Oasis, Martial to Pulisic for a hit. Nah, not from me. FPL Zag, Lord Linden, best midfielder outside United City for remaining games, replacing Pulisic. We don't want to replace Pulisic now, do you? So that doesn't really sound like a question now, unless you've heard that he's not playing. Outside of Man City and United. Oh, Jesus. I mean, that's really where you want to look, isn't it? He's completely where you want to look. As you can see from my team, that's my midfield, and I'm probably just going with those three at the moment and playing 4-3-3 most weeks. I tell you what I like as a real shout alternative to have a good finish for this season, if you want something that's really out there, is Nathan Redmond. That would be a name to put out there, possibly. Okay, this is in from Rockstar 21 seconds ago. Azpilicueta, Alonso, Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, Jorginho, Pulisic, Willian and Giroud all start. Mason Mount, Reece James, Ross Barkley, Tammy Abraham and Callum Hudson-Odoi all benched. Shows what we know about the Chelsea forum, doesn't it? Cantwell starts, Pookie benched. Rockstar says he's free hitting. No replies. Good luck. And I'm sure some others are. So to clarify that news, Azpilicueta, Alonso, Loftus-Cheek, Kovacic, Jorginho, Pulisic, Willian and Giroud all start. And I need to do something, unfortunately, for my team at the moment. So I'm going to be quite selfish about that. It's not my main team, but it's for a competition that I have with Suj, my co-host partner, in my North and South battle, because I'm about to launch my bench boost in that particular competition. And I was waiting on Chelsea defensively to decide on a replacement for Serge Aurier. But that doesn't really help me. Other than Reece James not playing, I've got Azpilicueta. I can't afford Alonso, so I'm just gonna have to take the chance that Zuma's one of them playing. I think I'm gonna back that he would have said if Zuma wasn't playing. That's what I'm gonna back. More transfers. Let's go with that. Remove. Sorry guys, I realise this doesn't make great viewing, but you know, when you've got to sort out your own FPL stuff, you've got to sort out your own FPL stuff. And I'm sure there's a few of you doing exactly the same at the moment. So let's go with Zuma. Sod it. Make transfers. Confirms Danny Ings as captain in my South team. Or should I go Pulisic? Fuck it, let's go Pulisic. Pulisic captain, Danny Ings vice then. And let's activate that bench boost. I won't tell you what it is because it's fucking awful. It's got Watford and Brighton players on it. It's as good as I can get to. It's a North versus South competition. And that's saved. Okay, cool. And get back to helping you guys with your last minute stuff. It's about 7... deadline... 7 minutes to deadline, I believe. Yeah, Pushkar, what do you think of a -8 for KDB, TA and Jimenez out? I don't even care who you're bringing in, mate. I don't like it. Avi's, hi James, Salah and captaincy picks. He's mine this week against tired Arsenal. Logical. Yeah, it's okay, mate. I just don't have a preference for it myself. I'm never going to... If any of you out there fancy Salah or Mane as captain, I'm never going to tell you no. Genuinely. I just think there's 10 better options. Personally, if I could pick from anyone. If I was free hitting this week, I wouldn't have Salah or Mane. I think that's part of my point. Few saying Rockstar obviously ready. He's a superstar, isn't he? Ray saying, which City asset do you think will score the most points from now until the end of the season? I think Sterling. Matt Hines seen Loftus-Cheek named as a starter on Twitter feed. Yeah. Paul Meehan one more time for Rockstar. Yeah. But there's no... What's he going to shit himself for Norwich and Burnley on Saturday? And he already tweeted today as well and said that he would not have team news for game week 38. Doesn't mean that others won't, but it also means that I therefore won't be trusting it unless I get a very reputable account like Heisenberg last week who gets hold of it. Gary Smith, yes, we're doing Champ Man tonight. Richard Benson, is Egan the best 5 million sub defender replacing Aurier? Yeah, don't mind that as a shout actually. That's absolutely fine, mate. Kartik Rao, should I drop Salah for KDB or keep Salah in? Jesus and Sterling are my two Man City players. I keep, mate. Keep. Chris is obviously confirming what we know. Pulisic, William start, Giroud, Paul Meehan, Pukki bench, scene. Shouldn't be surprised he's not playing well. Janae saying keep Salah in. Frodo saying excuse me, good luck James. So there's no more questions. I've got through everyone. So if anybody has anything now, like genuinely, go for it. Because you'll get in and you'll get it answered. As far as I'm concerned, we are 10 minutes till deadline. So if you've got something pressing, lastminute.com, let's do it. We should have, just bear in mind, I'm about 30 seconds behind live, if you will. Daft Paxton say play Jimenez or Greenwood. Jimenez for me, mate. Notorious Nerd, do you think Ollie will rotate this squad for this game week? Greenwood didn't look up to it last week. Up to it's harsh. Got to give Southampton credit. Yes, I think he'll get a break against Palace. He's my instinct. I still think he'll play the final half hour and can still do damage. So that's why he's still sitting in my team. Yes, I genuinely think he won't start. Yes, I'm still picking him. That's what I've decided to do. I think Fred will probably play left back for what it's worth. Williams, his injury was bad. Did you see the state of his eye? Go and look for some photos of that. It's terrible. And I'd be very surprised if Luke Shaw's fit enough to play. So I think Fred might play at left back, but shouldn't matter against Palace. Be more an issue playing against Chelsea in the Cup semi-final at the weekend. Paul Meehan, is Taylor okay from Burnley? He was flagged. I'm not aware of that, actually. We brought him into the differential team today, so I've no concerns on that, Paul. What no graphics? Alisson and McCarthy starting goal. I'd always go with a premium goalkeeper, mate, personally. I'm not a fan of McCarthy. I think he did it right last week. Southampton are always liable to concede goals. I'd go Alisson. Mark Brooks, Willian or Pulisic in Sky, up the ticks. Pulisic, mate. The upside's better, I think. Lucas says Foden captain time. Akil, you reckon Son will do well with Newcastle this week? Maybe. I think he'll probably play back on the left. I'm not keen on Spurs assets. You know that, genuinely. Amber Redmond, not a question, but the Wigan score. I know, right? Incredible. It is 7-0 in the second half there against Hull. Unbelievable. Benny Blanco, Taggart or Wilcox in first 11 for Champ Man tonight? Haha. Both. Subert's blog, McNeil or Redmond for next week? The temptation is going to be McNeil because they're playing Norwich, but I've said I really like Redmond. Really like Redmond as a shout. Yeah. I think I'd lean to Redmond, you know, for the last two games. If it's just the one game week, probably McNeil. And Tonino Gitto, if you could make one realistic signing for Spurs, who would it be? Any fucking good fullback and any good holding midfield player who can run a game. We need a playmaker as well. But those are the priorities. We can't do anything until we get good fullbacks, generally. So that would be the priority. Realistic. It'll upset people, but perhaps someone like Luca Dean at Everton. Actually, genuinely think probably would be realistic. It would cost too much though. It's the problem. Spurs aren't going to spend money. Max Aarons is one for the future, I think. I'm not sure he's better than Aurier. He certainly will be. That's more realistic type, and at least then, look, he's pacey. You would hope that with Mourinho that he would learn to defend better, but I think he's a long way off playing for the level that I want my team to be playing at the moment. But he's a good talent. Yeah, I'd take him. I'd actually take Lewis as well from Norwich, and I'd take Godfrey. As shit as they are defensively, they'd all improved the Tottenham squad, which I think tells you a lot about Tottenham at the moment. Jonathan Brown, free hit Alonso or Azpilicueta. If you're in a free hit and you know Alonso's playing, I really think you should go for that, personally. The upside of Alonso. If I was free hitting, genuinely, I'd have them both in right now, personally. I'd have gone them two, and I'd have gone Pulisic. I'd have gone for those three. That's specifically what I'd have gone for on a free hit. Aviz, how was Arsenal in North London derby? Pretty shit, mate. Rowan, got in Giroud for Vardy for a hit. Should I captain Pulisic or Giroud? Pulisic. Taylor, Wilson, McCarthy or Pope? Always Pope. FPL Zag. Lord Linden, how can we be a guest on your show? My rank is 125. Would love a band, so I'm all about zagging when the world is zigging. Well, Mr. Zag, are you a patron in the first instance? That's the first question. FPL Twigging, captain today in Sky? I don't have one. I'm going to go without. But the advice would be Pulisic is the best choice in my opinion. Alonso, an alternative, but you have to come straight back off. Jay Barker, who do you prefer to start over Mahrez Greenwood, given both will probably be impact subs? Mahrez. I'm a little conscious of answering any more questions because we're going to hit the deadline. I will give my opinion on these, but you need to fix your team. If you haven't fixed your team, you need to do that right now because I make it 7:15. So I will go through the rest of the questions and tell you what my opinion is or would have been. If you're going to be lastminute.com on the questions, there's always a possibility that I'm not going to be able to answer them in time for you. While I'm waiting for that Chelsea team, Tom Bolton, Adama to Pulisic, William -4 to play instead of Greenwood. I mean, if I wouldn't have hated that if you wanted to go for it, actually. If you could get straight to that move in Pulisic, yeah. Taylor Wilson, 22k aiming for top 10k. Jesus or Fernandez for captain, I don't know. On the screen, Taylor. Average Travo, hit taken again. Mane, Calvert-Lewin to Pulisic and Ings. Pulisic captain. Good luck, mate, for both FPL and Champman FPL. And good luck to you too, my friend. I'm not keen on that selling a Calvert-Lewin move. Genuinely, really not. Torfig, I did -12 to bring Salah, Sterling, Willian captain. Your thoughts? Doesn't matter, Torfig. You've done it. Here's the Chelsea team. Kepa, Azpilicueta, Zuma. Rudiger is back in the team. Good job I didn't go Christensen, innit? Thanks, Rockstar. Alonso, Kovacic, Jorginho, Loftus-Cheek, Willian, Giroud and Pulisic on the bench. Caballero, Christensen, Reece James, Tomori, Barkley, Mount, Hudson-Odoi, Pedro and Abraham. And for what it's worth, I will tell you the Norwich City team. If I can spell Norwich correctly, which is always a test for me. 4 changes from the weekend. McLean, Rupp, Cantwell and Dermich in. So it's Krul, Aarons, Godfrey, Closer, Lewis, Tetty, McLean, Rupp, Cantwell, Hernandez, Dermich. Interesting, Clash of the Correspondents yesterday at Rotation FPL said that he thought that if Hernandez played, he might give them some problems. Be interesting to see if he goes and plays on Alonso's side. He doesn't normally, prefers to play on the left. But I'd be very tempted seeing Alonso playing. If I was in charge of Norwich, to say, go and play on Alonso's side, mate. Give him some grief. Ray said, got Bolly, TAA, Aurea, Holgate and Siyunku. Cool. Cole, JB, hi James. Good luck this week and catch you later for a Rude Van Nistelrooy hat-trick. You will, Cole. Yes, he will be my Champman captain as well, mate. Ray Qureshi, who should bring in for Soy, 5 million or under. I think I've probably been targeting Sheffield United or Burnley would have been the 2 teams to look at. Jay Barker, think Shaw and Williams are okay actually, but Dallo will probably slot in if anything. That's a very fair shout actually, Jay. You're quite right. Yeah, Dallo could play left back. Obviously, they couldn't make another change last night. You spot on there, Jay. Actually, in fairness, yeah, I think you're probably right. Joe Finney, better have 9 million Sky for a Chelsea defender, but no James. Who? Got to go Alonso, haven't you? You got to. It's the upside. You got to go for it, mate. If that's what you're doing, I've decided I'm not doing it, mate. Karthik Rao, should I drop Salah and Foden for KDB and 1 Chelsea midfielder? I wouldn't have advised that, mate. Notorious Nerd. City front 3 this game week. According to me, Jesus, Sterling and Foden, I think would be what I'd guess. And it would be nothing more than that. Paul Coleman, cheers James, just letting you know I'm here, done pulsing for a hit, and I think you mean Pulisic for a hit and sticking the armband on him. Good luck, Paul. Karan just took a -16 to get Jesus, Pulisic, Dean Taylor and Fernandez in. Captain in Pulisic. Good luck, everyone. I'm going to guess you ain't got any chips left, mate. Antonino Gitto, how do you think Rockstar gets his leaks? It's amazing how accurate he is. He knows someone in media or something. It literally could be as simple as he knows someone at Sky Sports News or BBC or anything. He's more likely to be that than knowing through the club, or he knows someone at the Premier League. Maybe he works at the Premier League. Who knows? He's more likely to be something like that. And I think that's the same way others are getting him. It's through media. We had a very interesting chat on yesterday's Clash of the Correspondents about early leaks. And Rotation FPL does some moderation for Scout, Fantasy Football Scout, obviously the biggest content providers in fantasy football. And there's a lot of frustration there on these leaks because some people are obviously benefiting from them, but there's plenty of people on the other side of the world, etc., are not. And it's obviously meant to be a global game, etc. There is a thought that there might be some discussion of moving deadlines next year to stop this sort of thing happening. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly we're looking at 2-hour deadlines. The other way to do it is, which is what I'd prefer, do it up to kickoff. Do it up to kickoff of the first game. And then everybody knows and there's no guessing, there's no panicking. You can make your decision when you get your team. I think the fear of that is what it will do to the website of 7 million people waiting for the team news on Liverpool, etc. before they make their transfer. But I don't have a problem with these leaks. I think it makes this a little bit more enjoyable, waiting for it to come through, debating who may not play. But It is being investigated. They are aware that people are getting these leaks, and they're going to try and shut it down. That's not Scout trying to shut it down, by the way. That's official, potentially considering how to go around it. So that might be your last one, guys. So enjoy it. Who we got in here? I'll just cover these. Paul, me and I'm an idiot. It was the Villa Taylor who was flagged. Just saw Taylor and the claret top. Yeah, that's the sort of mistake my wife would make, mate. Jack Tasker, I've got Alonso on free hit. Cool. Paul Coleman, fucking spell check. Pulisic, FPL Badger, you ain't having them all. Another hoops. How tired is Antonio? Extremely, mate. Avis, all the best guys, made the hours be green, and I'll repeat that. Another hoops, you too. Avis, Frodo, cheers, games, great stream. Good luck all. Peter Randall, thanks, James. FPL Cobbler saying thank you, no problem. He's asking everyone to give the video a like on their way out. That would be very nice, guys. Adtor, thank you very much. Chris, thanks, James. Your work never goes unnoticed. Appreciate that, mate. Paul Meehan, good work, James. I fucking hate reading out all these complimentary ones. A little uncomfortable, but I appreciate it. FPL Andy saying see you at 8:30. Yeah, I'll be back here in just over an hour. Tim Shannon, good luck, boys. Went for Pulisic captains. Chelsea have to win, or it's bye-bye Champions League. Don't think it necessarily is, by the way. And they will win tonight. Scott Speed, FPL price prediction for next season. Bruno, KDB, Kane. I think they'll be gettable. I think Bruno will probably be about 11 million. KDB 12-ish. And Kane about 9.5. I personally, I've said this before, I would like KDB and Bruno both to be 13 million next year. And Kane, bring it down to like 8.5, 9. Make it interesting again. And then people got decisions to make. I know, but it's like Trent. I'll pay 9 million for him. I wouldn't flinch over it. Well, you can't pay that much. I'm telling you that I would. So I want the game to be harder, not easier. But that's just a personal opinion. Scott Speed, that's the one who just covered. Joe Finney Batter 0.1 off Alonso. Shit happens, mate. Chris Jagger, do you think VAR officials are taking bribes? No, I don't. But I think there's some mental conflict, which covered on a podcast yesterday. We covered it a bit more on our Patreon podcast yesterday as well. Lamichi, cheers for the stream. Chris Wood or Jay Rodriguez for the remaining weeks. Well, obviously you can decide that at the weekend. And you really should watch Burnley this week to make that decision. Watch the game against Wolves. Chris Wood would be my preference. Joe Finney Batter eats Rudiger or Zuma. How inspiring. Paul Meehan. Tomori's on the bench. Joe. Adtor. Rudiger better at scoring goals. FFI test. Evening, James. Hope you're well, mate. Have you renewed your season ticket yet? I've just done mine. Will be the 18th straight year watching Everton. Can't believe I've lasted this long. Yeah, I'll be back if they let me in the ground. They are looking to... Spurs will be one of the first to reopen to fans. It will all be technology to get in the stadium. They'll be very advanced in that situation. That's where the new stadium helps. And it's likely to be at reduced crowds. Don't know what the capacity is, but that's what Spurs have emailed us over the last 7 days. And essentially it will go to a ballot. And if it goes to a ballot, I'll be fucking offering silly money if I don't get a ticket. That's how I roll. And if you know anyone, or if you're a Spurs fan and you're feeling guilty because you get a Spurs ticket and I don't, yeah, let me know. I will pay you for it. Didn't fail. James took a -8 to do Vardy to Sells and Moy to Giroud. Dilver and Zuma for bench boost. Thanks for telling me to keep on my bench boost. Fraser Christie, hi mate. Thanks for tips. End up triple captain KDB. Good luck. Didn't fail. Giroud captain. Karan, hey James, a non-FPL question here. I love how you analyse games. I would love to know if you can give me some tips on how to analyse games. I can DM on Twitter. Thanks. Yeah, you can do that, mate. You can do that. I'm looking at games tactically. It's all I look at from kickoff in the first 10 minutes of a game or so. Unless it involves my own, then the emotional comes into it. But it's all I'm looking at in the first 10 minutes is tactics of games. All I'm looking at. And that's probably the easiest thing I can say. I'm almost, in a way, I'm not watching the game. I'm looking at what's happening. I'm looking at matchups. Is there anything different to what I expected? So when I see the lineups of teams, I have an expectation of what I'm about to see. So I'm looking for something different and then analyse from there. FPL Twiggy saying, come on Norwich. Yeah, go on Norwich. Oasis Magic. Anyone else gone without Chelsea coverage? Come join me behind the sofa. Yeah, me. I've got none. Definite red arrow for me tonight. FPL Twiggy, I'm going without 2, keep the faith. Another hoops, I've said it before, but in my opinion, price on forwards and defenders in particular need re-evaluating. Forwards lower, defenders higher. Depends though. You can get great ones like Danny Ings and Jimenez, not too bad, is it? Francis Bloody, triple captain, Raheem Sterling, Anto Malone, great info. Thanks, James. Right, guys, I need to go and eat because I've got another stream to do in an hour. For the chat, man, guys, I'll bring the beer. Everybody, thank you very much for your contributions in the stream. Give it a like on your way out. In terms of content for the Sky players, we will be recording very early in the morning for our Sky podcast. We'll get it out as early as possible for you tomorrow. I'll do a stream on Thursday for those who have enjoyed these. I do a stream on a Thursday which is much slower paced. It'll be about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It doesn't have to be FPL, it can be anything FPL related, and I will give questions a little bit more time than what I'm obviously able to, trying to assist as many people as possible with this. It's a completely different tone in terms of it's a slower pace and I'll properly analyse. Friday, me and Such will do the main podcast review of all the Game Week 36 fixtures, bar obviously West Ham and Watford. For patrons, tomorrow you have Tottenham and West Ham, a bit more detail on our weekends that was. I've got some funny stories from Spurs at the weekend that I want to share with you, and maybe funny only to me as I was on my own. Thursday we have a quiz that we'll release for our patrons. That's on FA Cup semi-finals, on the Premier League era, and also on Patreon on Friday. We'll have our preview of Game Week 37. Because of Champman FPL, which a lot of you won't know what that is, I'm already committed to doing a stream for that at 2:30 this Saturday, which will last till 5 o'clock. Now, the FPL deadline is 4:30 p.m. So my intention with that, bearing in mind it's Norwich and Burnley as well, is to do a stream for you for 1 hour on Saturday at 12 p.m. That's my plan. Other than that, Chris is saying in the chat, love you, Dad. Other than that, I hope your arrows are green. Have a really good midweek, guys, and speak to you all really soon. Good luck. Take care. Ciao for now.